Have you ever felt?
Are you listening? Damn.
How y'all doing tonight? We're going to toss up some crappie jigs and such. I'm going to put this on there and tie it around. Oh, never mind. Okay, this is a dry fly hook. Surprisingly, it's not an nymph or a streamer, but we realize that we have neglected the dry fly fishermen of the earth, and so we decided we would change our ways. I blame it on Curtis because he makes me tie streamers. I don't want to. Anyway, a long time ago we tied a fly called a grumpy Frumpy, and when people ask what my favorite fly is, it is absolutely this one. The original one that we did was the yellow and red version, and that's probably still my favorite. But this one has like purple and lime green to it, and it's been a really good producer lately. So we're going to show you how to tie it. This is a Daiichi 1180 hook, just a standard dry fly hook. You could use a Tiemco 100 or whatever you have. And then I've just got some like chartreuse-ish Vivus 10-aught thread that I'll use to build the fly. So basically I'm just going to dress the whole hook. And I wanted to originally tie a synthetic version of a humpy when I tied this fly. So instead of a moose or elk hair tail, I just use synthetic fibers. In this case, we're using sparkle emerger yarn. So I'm going to come up here about to the 3/4 point of the hook, tie that in, and wrap it back. Oh no. Okay, there we go. So there we've got it tied in. And I'm going to cut that off roughly the length of the body of the fly. From here, I'm just going to use some chocolate brown foam, and I'm going to cut it roughly the width of the gap of the hook, maybe a little bit thinner. And this is a size 12 hook that I'm using here. Typically fish this from about 12 to 14, so kind of not the biggest range of sizes. So I'm going to tie that in up at the front and just cover that all up with thread. So instead of elk hair, this grumpy Frumpy is going to be covered up with foam instead of the typical elk hair. Now for the body, I'm going to use this purple dyed peacock herl. Now this stuff's really cool. They actually bleach it and then dye it, so makes a pretty cool effect. Really bright purple. And I'm going to take a couple fibers right up by the eye because I want the fibers to be a little bit shorter. Down here the fibers are a little bit longer than what I want, as far as the little tiny filaments that come off the stem. So I'm going to tie those in right up here at the front. And wrap back, and I'll just tie those forward. And I'm actually going to use the rotary feature of the vise because these are kind of short, and I don't want to get my hackle pliers out. Okay, so we have those wrapped in. They're kind of loose right now. That's fine. And I'm not going to go back over them or reinforce them or anything because I'm going to take the foam and pull it over. So it's really easy to get too much material at the front of this fly, so it's important to pay attention to the proportions. So now I'm going to take that foam, I'm going to pull it over the top, just like that. And I'm going to kind of cut it at an angle. So we've got it cut at that type of angle, and I can come in here and trim it down to reduce bulk as I tie this down. And now I'm going to wrap forward to the eye of the hook. And now I'm going to take some polypropylene yarn. And what I have actually changed to is EP fibers. EP fibers make great dry fly materials because it's polypropylene. So I cut a flat section, and I'm going to tie that in a little bit longer than I need. And I'm going to twist my thread counterclockwise so that it lays flat, just kind of to make a little bit neater tie-in point. So once that's tied in, I'm going to wrap my polypropylene yarn back to the foam, and then I'm going to cut this off. And this is designed to be kind of a cripple style wing, where you've got a little bit of a butt behind it, and fibers going out the front. The other thing is Gary LaFontaine. I read his book, and white is a very strong attractor color, so that's one of the reasons why I decided to go with that. For the hackle on this, I'm going to tie in 2 pieces. I'm going to tie in a piece of grizzly. I'm tying those in so that when I start to wrap it, the shiny side will be facing forward. And a piece of Coachman brown. So I'm going to now take both hackles at the same time and wrap those forward. So it's 4 or 5 wraps, and I'll just tie that off with 2 or 3 wraps and then trim off my hackle. So once I have those trimmed off, I'm going to pull everything back and make some snug wraps right behind the eye of the hook, and that actually helps prop that wing up a little bit. Okay. And now we're going to trim the wing just a little bit longer than the hackle. So originally, this was how the fly ended up. It was just a kind of a synthetic humpy. And I was ready to fish it. Then, it was literally the middle of the night, and I had an idea to tie rubber legs onto it. And so what I did is I went back and I took all my grumpy frumpies, or all my fumpies as I was calling them, and I started to put a band on the middle of them. So it's got characteristics of a Royal Coachman now, or a Royal Wolf, my father-in-law's favorite pattern. And you kind of make a little bit of a thick band there. Okay, and now I usually use just regular circular centipede legs or whatever, but these new legs just came in from Hairline, and they're foil coated, so it's got purple on one side and blue on the other, and I think it's like a black or a dark brown core. But these are super cool legs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie one in on the one side and kind of adjust that where I want it. Then I'm going to loop it over and tie the other one on the other side, just with a few wraps. Oh. And the trick here is to keep your wraps right in the middle of those pieces of leg material, because if you don't, then the angles are going to be all screwy when you tie this off. Okay. So far, it looks like this. The rubber legs are looped around the front, and the reason I do that, so now I can take that, hold those back out of the way, and I can actually put a whip finish in front of those legs. So just like a 3-turn whip finish. And now we're done. And then you trim the loop. Got legs that are way too long now, so I'm going to come in here and trim the legs just a little bit longer than my hackle. And then because I did so few whip finishes, I'm going to come in here with this Loon water-based head cement and just tag the band, and then the head, just a tiny bit of head cement. Got some up in the wing there. And that's it. That's the Grumpy Frumpy. If you have cutthroat in the water near you or fish that eat attractors, this has been one of our best patterns whenever you have fish looking up. We'll post the recipe to this one and the other colors that we do really well. And also a variation of this fly is available through Fulling Mill, and it is for sale on our website right now.